I'm live. Hooray. Y'all can see my fan back there. Because it's hot. It's hot up in here. It's hot up in this piece. But I'm going to make do with what I got. I know I'm running a little late. I apologize, y'all, for getting up on this piece. A tad bit tardy. Is that fan too loud? Ew. Okay. I'm weird like that. Go figure. Anyway, yeah. How y'all doing today? This is the weekend speaking version of Be Real with D Real. I'm gonna be talking on some interesting talking points, i.e., controversial, inflammatory. Oh my goodness. Is my man's and them actually calling me right now? Should I answer that live? You know what? Bump it.
What's up, folks?
We're live.
Can you hear me?
Kinda.
Let me turn my shit up. My shit is down low.
Okay.
What is going on here? Got some shenanigans popping off.
Nothing yet. I'm just getting started.
Oh, you about to start the show?
You own the show.
Am I? Damn, this nigga.
I was thinking about it. I said to myself, should I answer it? Should I not answer it? I'm like, bump it. I'm going to go ahead and answer it. Just see what happens. So, yeah, I guess they can hear you, but they can't see you.
Oh, that's all right then. My voice is the best part of me. I just want to tell you that I watched, last night.
Okay, don't say nothing because I ain't gonna say nothing, but I'm gonna say something. But same way I expressed it to you is how I'm gonna express it on here.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna say that it was definitely a 10 times upgrade from the original, and I just leave it at that.
Fair enough.
And the 10 times was an arbitrary number, so don't put nothing on it. Just know that it was way better.
Oh, nope, yeah. Now you will get no argument from me, sir.
And my wife saved me from my petty nigga. She mailed your comic books yesterday.
Okay. Well, shouts out to the better half for hooking the brother up.
Yeah, so you should be getting them. She said you should get them by tomorrow.
Ooh, some of that Sunday mail service.
Yeah. I guess not Sunday. Y'all got Sunday? Y'all don't get mail on
Sometimes,
Sunday.
yeah, sometimes the mailman come on Sunday.
Okay. So what's today's topic about? You just talking about
today's topics is a couple things. Glad you're here. One of the things I was going to talk about, of course, is the baby's remarks, which
the baby as in the rapper, the baby.
Yes.
My wife said he got canceled. I don't know what he did because I don't be on the medias of socials.
Well, good for you, because now I can recap that and then we can get into it because it seemed like that's what's gonna be the hot topic. D Steezel, what's good, man? What's happening? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Glad y'all rocking with me. Okay, that's two of y'all. Anyway, I think it was last week. At a festival, the baby made some really inflammatory, borderline homophobic, or at least that's the way it was construed, homophobic comments. He basically said something like, if everybody in the crowd who don't have AIDS, turn the lights on, on your phone, turn your lights on. Everybody who ain't out in the parking lot, you know what, turn your lights up. And all you mothers out here giving people AIDS, if you ain't giving nobody AIDS or something like that, turn your lights up. So to me, that could be taken one or two ways, but because we live in super duper sensitive society, it's been taken as homophobic, so much to the point where that concert tour he's on, they took him off of it. They took him. He ain't one of the liners no more on the concert. And then Dua Lipa, who did a remix of a song with him, hurried up and came on, social media and said, "I do not reflect the baby's comments." So, yeah, you did make another Saturday Live, Steezel. Yay, appreciate you. So, Big Nub, what's your opinion?
You know how I get down.
I do.
So, my first question is going to be, is people in the LGBTQ community the only one sucking dick?
You asking the wrong brother that question. I don't know if other people are doing that.
The answer to the question is no. Women, straight women suck D too. So, they may be disproportionately impacted by AIDS, but are they the only ones who get AIDS?
Yeah. Okay. And just so you know, my man on here, D Steezel, agrees with what you're saying. Can't answer that.
All right, thank you, D Steezel. I'm like, so what we have is another social media driven narrative because one person said, "Oh my God, he's talking about me."
Well, here's what happened. Right after that happened and Dua Lipa issued her comments, the baby issued an apology. Well, no, take that back. He didn't issue the apology. He had issued a video and was trying to explain what he meant by his comments. He said he was just talking to the people in the crowd, and the people in the crowd was rocking with it. If you wasn't at that concert, it didn't have nothing to do with you, is what he said.
Because if I'm telling you, my first thought of that statement was he was talking about people having safe relations of sorts, whether it's intercourse or fellatio. That's what I got out of it. I did not instantly start thinking about any songs he made about women putting their mouth on his parts. My mind did not instantly go to LGBT. It went to the loose women he messes with, the thoughts out there, and the people in the crowd. That's what I thought about.
Okay. And when he issued his statement, though, he didn't say that. He said the gay people in the crowd was rocking with me, so I don't know what the F y'all talking about. So he was indeed talking about LGBTQ people. My thing is, if he felt like what he was saying was fine, why did he come back and issue an apology?
Well, because that's what you have to do in today's cancel culture and social media environment. Even if that's not what you meant, if that was not your intention, and we all know that the definition of harassment is how the person perceives it, not how you meant it. So even if that's not what he meant, the correct thing to do to save his dollar signs was to come out and apologize.
And bam. And that's what I said. That's the only reason he issued an apology. I feel like his apology was financially driven, not because he felt convicted in his heart about what he said. Because if you watch that video where he's trying to explain it, it's a whole bunch of MFs and F y'all, and y'all don't know what the F y'all talking about. So it didn't sound to me like the man was apologetic about what he said.
Yeah. I got a question now. Now I got to question his gangster credibility. Because if he was really a gangster like my nigga Bootsy, he would just been like, I said what I said, and I meant what I meant, man. But he come out apologizing for dollar signs. I don't know about the David now.
Yeah, and my man D Steezel, he said he feel like his handlers forced that apology from him because that's how it felt. That's how it sounded when he was. You know how like when you punch your little brother in the face and your mama make you apologize to your little brother and you go, "I'm sorry for punching you in the face." You just said it because your mama said. Because your mama said, tell him you sorry. You weren't necessarily really sorry. You just did it because your mama said, say sorry. And that's how it sounded.
And so he had to, you gotta apologize to the gay baby.
Yeah, well, a bunch of people don't.
Know, man. Those are some pretty rusty statements, but like,
it is what it is, man. I feel like he was in the moment. And he was feeling himself. And if you ever been on stage and that energy's going and you just like, yeah, and everybody's feeling you and you fired up, you might say something, I can make a booger talk, just out of nowhere. And
that's exactly what happened. He was feeling the moment.
And everybody like, wait a minute, did he just say I could make a booger talk? And it's like, you just your energy was, and I get where he was, but again, like y'all said, like D. Steezel said, it's a cancel culture society that we live in. And it seems like nowadays you got to walk around on eggshells, because how many women did Too Short call a bitch back in the day? Literally, it was the man's catchphrase, right? It was his catchphrase. And I ain't heard yet, I might have missed it, but I ain't heard Short apologize for calling nobody a bitch.
Yeah, but I think the difference is
it was a different time. It was a different time.
And they have a lot of weight. So like, you could still call a woman a bitch and nobody would bat an eye at it. But like, the minute you talk about the F word or the Q word, bro, you done. It's like you done.
Yeah. I was having a conversation on social media with some people. And they were talking about if the baby can be canceled by the LGBTQ community, why can't the straight community cancel Lil Nas X? And I'm like, first of all, Lil Nas X, that's just a straight homophobic statement. Lil Nas X didn't say nothing to nobody at his concert, or as far as I know he hasn't, about, okay, put your penises up in the air and wave them like you just don't care and forget all the straight people. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, he made no statement like that. To me, it was just kind of a not well thought out tit for tat type of thing.
Yeah, that's terrible. Like, Lil Nas X, first off, I don't take him seriously. I don't know how the community feels about him, but I feel like he uses his gayness or queerness, whatever the fuck word is, as a marketing tool. He uses it more to promote his trash music than he does about being a true, that's just how I feel about him, because he came out and all of a sudden, he used it to sell his music. Oh, I'm gay, I'm wearing pink and lap dancing with the devil, just doing like that, bro. So I'm not giving him no power in my life or my straight life. Because what he said, like, if you secure, shouldn't be giving baby any influence in the baby or little baby or which baby. Baby, they shouldn't get none of them niggas no weight in their life. Like, who cares what he said at a concert in Chicago? Probably, was it Rolling Loud or something like that he was at?
Yes.
Yeah, it was with a tour.
Yeah, it's Rolling Loud.
Yeah, like, I don't know. People were soft and sensitive today. Everybody's soft and sensitive.
Yeah, we are soft. Well, I ain't soft and sensitive. I don't care one way or the other.
We can be soft too.
I'm a switch gears here. And yeah, D. Steezel says there is double standards, but that little Nas X comparison is strange. D, it's not just strange, it's a reach. It's a long reach. It's an attempt to justify, at least that's the way I feel, it's an attempt to justify homophobia while validating the baby's comments. Because that's what it sounded like. It was the whole conversation was about why are we jumping down the baby's throat? Why are we picking on the baby? Why don't we go pick on Nas X for that stuff he did? He lap danced with the devil, and it's like.
It's funny that he could talk about killing kids and smacking women up.
And that's my point. He got everything in his song, including the kitchen sink. But as soon as he go out on the stage and talk about sucking dicks, excuse me, I might get in trouble for that one. And things of that nature. When he starts talking about things like that, everybody gets offended. But it's like, okay, he been doing concerts and saying inflammatory stuff, but wasn't nobody offended until he said that. Double standard. Okay, real quick, and this is all I have to say, and I'm gonna put a bow on this because this is how I feel about it. If you are at your show doing your thing and the people, he didn't get booed, you know what I'm saying? Didn't nobody boo him when he said what he said? Didn't nobody try to come up on the stage when he said what he said? So obviously the people in the audience, which is who that concert was for, because they paid money, didn't have a problem with it. It seems like everybody else who was not at the concert had a problem with it. So it sounds like the people who wasn't at the concert probably need to mind their business. I get it. That may or may not have been a homophobic statement, but why don't you let the homosexual people come out and say how they feel about it? Why don't you let the transsexual people come out and say how they feel about it? And when you got a statement from the LGBTQ community, there may be one, I don't know. When you got a statement with them saying that was effed up, then deal with that then. Until then, to me, it's a non-issue. And that's just the way I feel about it. Now, moving on to another inflammatory, potentially controversial issue. Vaccines. Let's talk about vaccines. Okay. Apparently, and I can't speak for the nation. I can only talk about what's going on locally. Locally, there is a spike in COVID-19 cases, and these COVID-19 cases just happen to be or the majority of these cases happen to be people who haven't been vaccinated. But there are also cases of people who have gotten vaccinated and still got the virus. Now, before I go any further, let me explain what I understand. Getting a vaccine does not proof you from catching COVID-19. It merely bolsters, at least that's what they say, bolsters the immunity so that your chances of getting COVID-19 are reduced. Okay. That being said, just because you don't went all year and another year and a half or 2 years or what, well, it ain't been 2 years yet. So, okay, that doesn't mean just because you haven't caught it, you won't catch it. People with polio, I mean, back when polio was a thing, I'm sure there were people saying, I'm not getting that vaccine. And I'm sure there are people who didn't get the vaccine and didn't get polio. However, the mandate is if you're not going to get the vaccine, at least put on a mask and or social distance, excuse me. Yeah, I hear you, D. Diesel. Can't you tell in my voice that I'm being very careful as I speak about this? I do not want to offend vaxxers or non-vaxxers. Simply say, if you ain't been vaccinated, the choice to go and get vaccinated is whose choice? Yours.
Ron's choice. Oh.
If you have been vaccinated, that's cool too. But apparently, the cases are still spiking, and it ain't just locally. So I think common sense would say, do what you feel is safe. Because in a lot of these cases, people think about themselves and not everybody else when it comes to a vaccine. At least this vaccine. It seems like people are thinking to themselves, well, if I ain't outside, or if I ain't in contact with nobody who has COVID, I'm not going to get COVID, so I'm not going to give nobody COVID. I'm not going to tell nobody what's right or what's wrong about it, because I have my own opinions about it. And I can't tell anybody who gets a vaccine that they're wrong for doing that. Just like somebody who gets a vaccine can't tell me I'm wrong if I'm social distancing and wearing my mask if I didn't get a vaccine. So why are we arguing about this? Anybody? D. Diesel? Big Nub?
Here's what I'll say. This is a phrase that I often say that you can apply to anything in life. It's all good till it's not. So it is all good not social distancing. It's all good not getting a vaccine until it's not. Then everybody want to pray to God and ask Lord why. Like, I don't think that it's bad to decide to get vaccinated or not get vaccinated if you have truly done your due diligence and come to the conclusion that I will or will not get the vaccine based on these factors. But when you talk to most people, there is no due diligence. No one's done any true reading about the vaccine, how it does or doesn't affect. No one knows, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
nobody's doing it. People are passing around bits of information that they see in the news and that they read on social media or that they hear from other people, and they're making a life decision based on hearsay and speculation because they've done no due diligence. You know, all this stuff about I don't know what the vaccine does to your body. When's the last time you went to the doctor's office and your doctor prescribed you medicine and you asked him how many people took this medicine before you and how long was it in trial and what exactly is in this medicine, doc? Nobody do that. And they give you the medicine, you just take it. So I fail to understand the logic and why that's the logic that people are applying to this vaccine. I'm vaccinated, right? But as you know, I was a strong opposition to the vaccine in the forefront. And that was because based on fact, we did not know how the vaccine, based on the short trials that they did, was going to affect the mass population. So I waited. I watched for a year to see. And what I saw was that more people having long-term effects and deaths from COVID than it was being reported that people were having adverse effects to the vaccine. That's what my research and my reading and all my shit showed me. And so when I seen that, you know, I was like, all right, I don't know what the vaccine is going to do long term, but I do know what COVID will do to you long term. So I chose to get vaccinated.
D. Diesel said, my old man got the vaccine, but I'm good. Last time I got shot for anything was a tetanus shot as a kid. Okay. Y'all seem to be on opposite ends of the spectrum, but I'm not going to play devil's advocate. What I am going to say is this. Life is choice driven. And you and only you deal with the consequences of your choices. If there are consequences. And that's my thought process. If there are consequences, and it's a very good point that you brought up in saying, did everybody do their due diligence? I'll be perfectly honest. Recently, I started looking into it at first, because somebody told me if you're going to be pro-vax or anti-vax, at least get the scientific hard data, which, I'm a data-driven kind of person, so it's uncommon of me to just be like, hive mentality. Oh, no. So I started doing my research, and for the most part, the only thing I found that the vaccine causes, and it's a specific vaccine because they got Moderna, they got Pfizer, is blood clots. Okay. What's the likelihood of you getting a blood clot? You read about some people, oh, this person died from a blood clot from taking COVID. Okay, that's that one person out of how many people that took that vaccine and didn't get a blood clot and didn't die. Now, I'm not saying, okay, go ahead and get the vaccine. All you really got to look forward to possibly is some blood clotting. Okay, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but I mean, that's what the scientific data says. And if you're going to make a decision about something like this that not only affects you, but affects the lives of other people, have all the information.
That's me. That's what I say. That's my closing argument. I'm not for or against the vaccine. I made a choice based on the information that was available to me. And all I say to my black people is do the same thing. Don't make a choice based on what your nigga down the way told you, or what your auntie who was a nurse 40 years ago told you, or what you seen the baby post on Instagram. Make a decision based on hard facts. Make a decision based on watching what's happening around you. Just don't make it based on shit that's not factual. And the majority of people, when I press them with questions like that, they can't answer them, and they get defensive. That's what you, bro. I'm not telling you to go get the vaccine. I'm telling you to get the information and decide if you want to get a vaccine. Get the information to see what COVID is doing. Before you make a decision. My neighbors, they laughed at me when I was social distancing and didn't come out the house and stuff. And they was, it was some of them clear people, so they was like, when clear people, they was all, oh, look at you don't come out, you don't hang out no more, bro. You always wearing a mask and
well, you,
right?
Yeah.
A whole year and a half before I got vaccinated. And, well, right now, my man, like, my body ain't been the same since. And his wife is still going to a pulmonary specialist because of how it affected you. People are thinking I can get the COVID and be all right. And yeah, that does happen. But a lot of people have these residual health issues that go on well past getting over the virus. And that's the part that scared me. I was like, man, like you can't breathe no more still, even though it's gone, you still have trouble processing oxygen and just all kind of random side effects are documented that are happening from COVID. And I was like, well, I'll take my chance with these possible side effects.
Wow.
Rather than these documented joints.
Wow. Okay. And that being said, my man D. Steezel said, not throwing shade at any pro-vax folks. It's just not my thing. And I don't co-sign the extreme position folks been taking on both sides.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
The person who got vaccines, other than when your mama stuck you, I understand why you F the vaccine. Like, if you only got the ones you was forced to get as a child and you ain't had nothing after that, that makes sense. And that up until recently, for the large part, was me. I mean, you read about, oh, we got these chromosomes and these genes, and we got twice as much as everybody else. And in my thought process, after I read up on it, was like, yeah, that's twice as more stuff to get. I mean, if it fights everything off, cool. But if it don't, then where you at?
But long story short, it's choice driven, y'all. Bottom line, choice driven. You do what you do based on what you have researched and what your experience is. That's it. Stop listening to what this person's saying. Stop listening to what that person's saying, because ultimately you're going to have to do it for you and yours and nobody else. Now, let's move on to another subject, the Olympics. Let me give y'all some numbers real quick about the Olympics. Since 1896, the United States in participation in the Olympics has won 2,847 medals. That is the most of any country in the world. And 1,134 of those medals were gold. So, what's up with the interest in the Olympics? That's my question, because I've talked to about 4 or 5 different people, because I in high school I ran track, so I've always loved track and field has always been, my thing. And I watch track and field when there isn't Olympics. You know what I'm saying? That's how much I'm into track and field. And if it's track and field on, like the national competitions, the world competitions, I watch all that. Now, there has been a drop, unless I'm exaggerating, there's been a drop off in interest with regard to the Olympics. I don't know if that's a worldwide thing, but I know in the United States and specifically in my circle of influence, when I ask people about the Olympics, they like, nope, didn't watch it. Nope, didn't see it. Or I watched the video, the highlights, the footage of what was already ran. And I think a lot of that might be, I'm not sure, it might be because they're in Tokyo, and Tokyo is like what, 17 hours ahead of us, I think. 16 or 17 hours ahead of us. But that don't make no sense, because the Olympics were in London one year, I think, and before that they were somewhere else where the time zone is different. So I don't necessarily think it's a time zone thing. I think it's just there's more controversy involved in this year's Olympics than I've seen in my lifetime. I ain't never seen so much BS around what an athlete did do, or what an athlete didn't do, or what an athlete should do. And all of these like armchair commentators who got these comments about what athletes should and shouldn't do, or did and didn't do. And it's kind of just put like a black eye on the Olympics in general, because I feel like shouldn't the Olympics be something that we all celebrate, that we all excited about, that we all want to take part in? Wow. Crickets. D. Steezel says next to basketball, track and field is the best part of the Summer Olympics. I agree 100%. To the point where pretty much basketball and track and field is all I really watch when I watch the Olympics. The other day, though, I was watching karate, and they have something in the Olympics now called kumite. What? Kumite? What? Kumite? Kumite? Woo! No, not that kind of kumite. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking like Bloodsport and Chong Li and folks getting their neck snapped and stuff like that. But I guess kumite is just a term that means like full contact competition. So it ain't. So I guess karate isn't based on a point system anymore. It's based on if you can knock that cat out. Kumite, hooray! I think I might tune into the finals of that just to see somebody get kicked in their head. But I mean, these things will pick up. What is y'all take on the Olympics, this year's Olympics. How y'all feel about it with all the controversy and whatnot? Is it still all right? Don't start talking and typing at once, y'all. Well, seeing how as, wow, I'm looking at, wow, I'm not even gonna say it. Anyway, since nobody else wants to level an opinion, I feel like there's less participation fan-wise in the Olympics than I've seen, because a lot of the brand name people, the folks we were rooting for and pulling for, have either not been able to participate in the Olympics or have dropped out of the Olympics. And while I'm thinking about it, shouts out to Allison Felix for becoming the female track and field participant from the United States of America who has accumulated the most gold medals. So, and Allison Felix is 35. So, even more shout outs to her for that. A lot of the Olympics, or at least a lot of the conversation around the Olympics, seems to have centered around either Sha'Carri Richardson or Simone Biles, and not necessarily their performances, but what they're doing or saying outside of their competitions. So it's like, to me, and I'll use, sometimes stuff that I, podcast or talk about as an example. It seems like when I discuss something inflammatory or potentially controversial, I get more feedback. I get more clapback. I get more conversation. But if I talk about something, this is unicorns and rainbows, but I like it. Let's talk about this. Crickets. So it seems like, do we like being engaged in controversy?
Yes. My bad. I had to step away. I was in somewhere noisy, and I didn't want to have all that background noise in your broadcast.
Yeah, that was very thoughtful of you, sir. Wow, man, you and him must have like a mental rapport or something. D. Steezel, in regard to the Olympics, says controversy, real or fake, involving Black athletes in the Olympics is kind of the norm.
Yeah, I'm to answer your question, I have not watched any Olympics. I have not sat down to watch an Olympic event, but I do catch clips of the Olympics on YouTube. That's about the highlight of my Olympics right now. Watching Olympics, I mean, it's just not what it used to be, right?
Yeah, and I think largely, if you want to watch the Olympics in real time, you got to watch them at like 4 a.m, 3 a.m. You know what I'm saying? If you want to catch it while they're actually doing it, that's the only time you're gonna be able to do it. Otherwise, it's the replay, and it seemed like people aren't even watching the replay.
Nah, cause it's whack, B. Like it really is. Like we knew who was gonna win the basketball. I mean, like they tried to fake like France was some competition, but like you knew who was gonna end up winning. I mean, we thought we knew who was gonna win track and field, but
surprise, and that's what I'm talking about.
Them Bati boys, they come from nowhere, man. They gonna put a smack down upon them.
Well, I said back when they was talking about the Sha'Carri Richardson suspension, I told them, hey, Jamaica finna smash everybody since she ain't in it.
So I got a theory about that. Since people like controversy, I feel like it was the Jamaicans that had gave her the weed, so that I'm just playing. So that they could set her up so she could win the Olympics.
I'm gonna sip my tea to that one.
I'm just playing.
Oh, I'm gonna tell. Oh man, they went in on old girl, bruh. I sent you that video, didn't I? About when they were talking about so you say weed impairs performance, and it had a guy.
Yeah, I was dying. No, on the sidelines.
Yeah, no, dude was running, and they was handing the joint off.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, the internet is savage, man.
The internet gonna always win.
They just do not care. These things were said, unfortunately, the average viewer craves controversy. In regard to the Olympics, I gotta disagree. I want to see the Olympics. I mean, I want to see competition. I want to see America shine or get stomped. I mean, that's right now overall in medals. I believe we're second place. The only country ahead of us right now in medals is China. So, I mean, it's enough of them. So it ought to be. They ought to be ahead of us.
You about to get canceled with the baby. You better be careful.
Don't they have the most population on the earth?
Oh no, them in India might be running neck and neck.
Well, India population ain't helping them in the Olympics apparently, or maybe they just got quality athletes in China this year. I don't know. I mean, usually they down there like fourth or fifth, but China is killing it right now.
No, would you look at the medals overall? Like if you ever hit the see more button, like it's only like a couple countries that actually have, gold medals anyway. Like is it like the rest of them is like I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, man, why you train for 4 years and bring the trashiest athletes you could? You didn't win no medals. Like why did y'all even come? Like
maybe China, the United States, and Korea seem to have the best overall athletes. Okay, I think a lot of it, is just geographically. That sport ain't something that they do. Just like all the controversy about back in the day with the Jamaican bobsledding team. Whoops! Look at that. I said it. Controversy. It just seems like to me. Maybe they should like rethink like some of the sports that are in, because it seems like a lot of the sports are like things like track and field is track and field. You know what I mean? Everybody runs, everybody jumps. You know what I'm saying? So track and field, I feel like is the most universal.
They got so many trash whack. If the Greeks. If the Greeks could see what the Olympics was today, they would throw up in their mouths. Like I mean, they got BMX, biking, one knee canoe races. I was like, what is this? Like, why is this an event? Like, who been doing this their whole life that they need to compete on a national level at this?
Like, useless fact: tug of war used to be an Olympic event.
That would be hard, though.
And that's what I'm saying. It used to be. They took that out to put in, whatever you tiddlywinks or whatever it is you talking about. So,
yeah, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a United States team, tug of war against some big Russians or some big New Zealanders or I could see that. That's actually super competitive. I ain't never been in tug of war and it wasn't competitive.
No, yeah. What they need to add to the Olympics is that professional slapping shit they got on. I'll be watching the videos, bro. I'll be dying. I'm like, they need to add this to the Olympics.
That looks dangerous, man. I mean, I saw one where it was like a super huge guy and it was a little bitty guy with tattoos all over his face, man. And that dude smacked him and he his eyes rolling back his head and they had to hold on to him like, hang on, bro. I'm like, see, that's like that getting slapped is like the modern day kumite.
Yeah, that's crazy. It is. But I'm going to have to say thank you for having me. I'm getting a side eye from the wife because we out here about to have lunch at Tokyo Joe's.
Well, then you better get out of here and before you get in trouble, and tell Miss Lady, ma'am, I said what up.
like, she just mad because the Germans ain't winning no medals. I'm like, y'all used to win steroids and mechanical enhancements was the shit. Y'all Germans was tearing shit up. Now y'all niggas got like 3 medals.
You gonna have a whole bunch of German people mad at you.
It's alles klar.
Indeed.
It's all right. Hey, but hey, thanks for having me. Enjoy yourself, man. I'm gonna keep listening.
For sure, bro. Stay up.
Later.
That is my homie Big Nub, who always has. Yes, there is a 15-second chat delay. I wait for you. You want me to wait for you? I was getting ready to flip subjects here in a second because obviously it sounds like the Olympics is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. I predict that we will upend China in medals, overall medals, and take the whole nine, the whole enchilada, because I got faith in America. Twisted and cancel culture filled as we are. I think we have the ability to come together in the Olympics and do something. That being said, I got 2 more subjects I want to talk about. And it ain't gonna take me too long to talk about them. The first one is the Suicide Squad. When I saw the previews to the Suicide Squad, I said to myself out loud, I said out loud, that looks like that isn't gonna be too bad. And my words were prophetic. I watched the Suicide Squad when it premiered on Thursday on HBO Max. Bruh, if y'all have not seen the Suicide Squad, turn it on, turn it up loud, and enjoy the hell out of it. Because when it kicked off, action-packed, and they like sustained the action throughout the movie. They stop every now and then in between the action to tell stories. But overall, for me, it seemed like the action it slowed down, but the action never stopped. And in a superhero movie, an action-based movie, that's all you need. And it was quantum years better than is that a thing? Quantum years? Quantum Leap. Remember that show, Quantum Leap? It's a quantum leap beyond the first Suicide Squad movie. Matter of fact, I would just forget that first Suicide Squad movie even existed, because this one is don't worry, these things. I ain't gonna give it ain't no spoiler. I'm gonna do a video next week about the Suicide Squad movie, and that will most likely have spoilers in it. But I ain't gonna give no spoilers right now. I'm gonna just say great performances by Sylvester Stallone. Yes, Sylvester Stallone as Killer Shark. Sylvester Stallone did the voice action for Killer Shark. Perfect voice for Killer Shark. When I look at Killer Shark in the comics, Sylvester Stallone's voice is what I hear. Of course, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Almost didn't. I forgot her name. But, because it's Margot Robbie, it's Harley Quinn, she gets her obligatory screen time, and she does Harley Quinn type things that you will be thoroughly satisfied looking at. And last but certainly not least, my man Idris Elba as Bloodsport. He killed it. He killed it. He totally killed it. Yes, Quantum Leap is a classic show. I wish they would do a reboot of that. Let's see how that would look. But anyway, Suicide Squad overall is a dope movie. As far, I think the DCEU that was their 10th, I think their 10th movie. I would put that movie in the top 5 of best DCEU movies. It's in my top 5. That's how I feel about it. That's how dope it was. And y'all should go check it out or turn on HBO Max and check it out. No matter how you check it out, it's great. Because it's the Suicide Squad. Hence the name. Some people are gonna die. So just like back in the day when you was watching The Walking Dead, don't get too attached to certain people. Also, John Cena. John Cena got a future, man. John Cena has a future in deadpan humor. He did it. I mean, he didn't do too much. He did just enough. He carried his portion of the movie well. So shouts out to my man John Cena for killing the game, man. I thoroughly enjoyed his rendition of Peacemaker. Lastly, as always, y'all know my heart project, my pet project, my project that gets nothing but love from me is tidy whities. Shh, you giving away stuff. Shh, don't tell them about the tidy whities. Right now, I want to talk about the recast T'Challa movement. Those of y'all that know, I got like, I want to say like 28 videos that I've got on my page, a good 20, talking about the recast T'Challa movement and events around the recast T'Challa movement. Just to let y'all know, myself and other content creators are starting to get together, and we're going to start doing group podcasts. We're going to start doing group lives on Instagram, and we'll probably get some lives going up in here. If they are talking about recasting other roles in Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, they got to have that conversation about recasting the role of T'Challa in the Black Panther franchise. I mean, it's unprecedented, man. How can you have... I ain't never seen a James Bond movie and there wasn't a James Bond in it. I ain't never seen a Batman movie and Batman wasn't in it. I get it. The cop out is, well, Shuri's gonna become the new Black Panther. I done said it before and I say it again. I do not care if Shuri becomes the new Black Panther or not. I care about the fact that there is no T'Challa in this movie and you're murdering him off, so there can't be a T'Challa. At least that seems like what they're trying to do. Chadwick Boseman's brother Derek gave an interview on a faith-based network. If you want me to, I will put that link next week in my recast T'Challa weekly video that I'm going to do. And in there where he said he feels like, and this is him, conversations he's had with his brother who's passed, that there's a narrative to decrease the black man in Hollywood, either by killing him off or giving him a demeaning role. But that's nothing new. That was called blaxploitation in the 70s. What's wrong with a black man being a king? What's wrong with a black man being a president? And I said it on live on Instagram last week. I can name off 5 different movies where there was a black man who was the president in charge and the world was just in total chaos, or the world was getting destroyed, or the White House was burning down. Is that what they think we are in leadership positions, unable to handle it, unable to deal with it? I don't know. I do know that we're going to keep talking about recasting T'Challa, and we're going to be in your face and on your bumper. Now, what we're starting to do, when I say we, I'm talking about folks like myself. I'm talking about folks like St. Clair the Wolf. I'm talking about folks like my man Theo B. Us. We ain't super large content providers, just my opinion or E-Man's reviews, but we are all on the come up, each one teach one. We got something to give, we got something to deposit into your brains and into your hearts. D. Steezel said, I remember in an interview years ago where Kevin Feige was talking about recasting any of the main actors when they got too old, etc. The attitude obviously changed somewhere down the line. Obviously, D, it has, because I understand recasting, and that makes total sense. How many James Bonds have there been? How many Supermans have there been? How many Batmans have there been? It is ridiculous to think that only one actor on the face of the earth can play a particular role. I know for years, folks were like, Christopher Reeve is the only cat who could play Superman. No, he's not. And y'all see that now. So much to the point where they're like, let's get a black Superman now. Sean Connery is not the only actor to have played James Bond, though for years, many people said nobody can do James Bond like Sean Connery. And then you got Daniel Craig. So, I mean, like I was saying before, the characters should go on forever. There should be recast. If we continue to love superhero movies and want more of it, then we need fresh faces. Period. I ain't gonna be looking at no 77-year-old Batman playing the role unless he's the Dark Knight Returns or he's helping Terry McGinnis as Batman Beyond. That's the only old decrepit Bruce Wayne I want to see. Or maybe that Kingdom Come Bruce Wayne where he puts on that exoskeleton. That would be cool. Kingdom Come would be a dope movie. DCEU, I hope y'all listening. Kingdom Come would be a dope movie. Also, I'm going to mention it sideways. There's an Injustice animated movie coming out. I've been waiting for that since the video game. Injustice movie. Amazing. I'm getting off course though. Back to the recast T'Challa movement. I'm gonna wrap this up. Wednesday, August 11th, which happens to be my wife's birthday, so I'll definitely remember it. I'm going live on Instagram, and anybody that wants to join me can join me, and we're gonna talk about T'Challa stuff. I am DReal1970 on Instagram. If y'all want to know, y'all could join in, or you could just follow me and get in on the conversation like that. Hugh Jackman can too be replaced. Buff as he is, he's still old, and, and he gonna look that way. I mean, you could probably doctor him up to make him not look so old, but he's still gonna look old no matter what you do. Hugh Jackman was a great Wolverine. He was an amazing Wolverine. So if you found one, you go find another one. The cockroach rule. For everyone you see, there's hundreds you don't. So there are hundreds of great actors out there who could potentially play that role just as good or better than Jackman did. Okay. 58 minutes. I usually don't go past an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and put a nice, neat little bow on this, my homies. I appreciate all of y'all that chimed in. My man D. Steezel, bruh, I just want you to know I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you rocking with me. Rocking with me here. Rocking with me on my page. rocking with me on other formats. Also, we got a Facebook page called the Council of Wakanda. If y'all want to get down and get on that, we all about the preservation and the history of T'Challa and all things Wakanda. And it's a lot of knowledgeable people in that group that have knowledge and information about all things Wakanda and Black Panther. So if you're on Facebook, jump on that. And it's also Council of Wakanda on Instagram too. So if y'all want to get up on that, y'all get up on that as well. Like I said, I'm going to do videos throughout the week. I'm going to definitely address some of these issues, some of these inequities. And on the Instagram, we're going to tag Kevin Feige. We're going to tag Marvel Entertainment. We're going to tag Ryan Coogler. And they all going to be in on this joint. So they can't say we didn't say nothing to them about it. They can't say they didn't hear the little guys because we're going to speak directly to them. This has been Be Real with D-Real Weekend Speaking. It comes on the weekend sometimes. It don't come on the weekend. I will let you know before the weekend comes, though, if there's going to be a weekend version. It depends on y'all. We got to build it up. We got to build it up. Tell folks about the weekend show. What do they do with Amway? When you come back, bring 2 people with you. All right, this has been Be Real with D-Real. I'll be back with another one of them other ones. And until then, y'all be good to each other.